Steve, do you give the Treasurer credit for a surplus? Because the opposition certainly hasn't been acknowledging this milestone today.
Look, it's a classic Labor budget, and I don't think Jim Chalmers had any other option but to do what he's done. Now, this argument about whether the $14.5 billion cost of living grants will add to inflation, we won't know. Budgets are all about, as we know, estimates of what might or might not happen. And so who knows where we're going to be with inflation? Those estimates on what inflation might do through the rest of this year into next year, Sharri, I think they're extremely optimistic. And they're very dependent, aren't they, on the global situation not getting a hell of a lot worse. So if inflation keeps going up, I mean, all the people watching us tonight who probably their eyes have glazed over a lot of the budget coverage that they've seen, what they're worried about is, are my power bills going to be more expensive? Will I get another interest rate rise? And if I get one more, might I get two? Now, if we get two more interest rate rises on people on the margins, it's going to be very difficult for people to hang on to their homes. And I don't think this budget gives anyone in Australia, particularly in middle Australia, any optimism that things are going to be particularly rosy for the next 12 months. I tell you who is going to be happy, though, Sharri. One of the things I've dug out about this budget today.
Tell me.
Have a guess how many public servants are going to be hired to head off down to Canberra to push pens around on a bit of paper. 10,000. Wow. 10,000 public servants extra are going to be employed by this Albanese government to go to Canberra, where, of course, if you want public servants to be doing their work, it should be in the states, in hospitals and in the police force and all of those other areas. But 10,000 people, I mean, that is the biggest increase in public service numbers since, guess when? 2008. Who was Prime Minister in 2008? Kevin Rudd.
Well, exactly. And that was, you know, the Treasurer was last night asked why he had something like $120 million extra for political staff members. And this is a point I'm going to come back to later in the program. But he kind of indicated it was a result of the Sally Rugg case because political staff were working so hard. But then Anthony Albanese today said that it had nothing to do with that case.
$375 million they put into the budget, and that's going to go to every MP, lower house and every senator to have an extra staff member in their office. The other thing I've uncovered today, guess what that is also going to allow them to do? When that member of parliament, House of Reps or Senate, goes to Canberra on a sitting week, at this moment only one staff member is allowed to go. Guess what's going to happen? Every staff member in those offices is going to be allowed to go to Canberra. How ridiculous is that? Airfares, ground transport, hotel accommodation. Yeah, I mean, seriously?
And that is a rot they could crack down on, that's for sure. Now, Steve Price, great to have you with me today, and I'll see you next week.